What's up, guys? We are back at TackleShackUSA. My name is Anthony Garcia from GTeam Outdoors.
I'm Gilbert Garcia from GTeam Outdoors. We just got back from Arizona where we fished the KBF at Roosevelt, where we had a couple of good top 10 finishes.
So today we're going to be showing you guys a little of how we did it in Roosevelt. I mean, it was a super tough fishery, so being able to change what we were doing or how we were fishing or our styles, because I did some stuff that I don't really usually do, and my dad will talk to you about how he was able to catch them, and that's basically what today's video is going to be about.
Going into the event, I thought it was going to be a slugfest. I thought the numbers were going to be way up. Really thought everybody was going to be catching them, and to our surprise, it wasn't that at all. Still managed to put a decent limit together and get on the fish on day one and manage a 9th place finish. Okay, so going initially into this tournament, we expected it to be basically a bed fishing tournament with the temperatures and the fish moving up, but we didn't have a lot of time to pre-fish. We pre-fished one day. And after pre-fishing, realized that they weren't up on the banks the way, at least not in the area of the lake that I was on. They weren't on the banks like I thought, and ended up going offshore a little bit into 25 feet of water and found them. And started with the drop shot just to see if we could get them to react. They immediately reacted on the drop shot, throwing a hologram shad, robo worm. Some of the schools that were suspended and really hammering the bait fish decided to throw the jerk bait, and that panned out. Jerk bait bite was really on pre-fishing and also on day one. All right, so on top of that 9th place finish on trail 1, trail 2, which was Sunday, managed a little better bag, 4th place finish. The bite that we had on Saturday didn't pan out. The area was still holding fish, but they weren't reacting the same way. So switched it up a little bit, went a little bit more shallow and tried throwing a Texas rigged worm in the brush. Second cast, ended up with a 16 1/4 for our kayak tournament fishing. We measure the fish, we don't weigh them. Caught a couple of fish on that. Then we found some fish, or I found some fish on the ledge. The fish on the ledge was kind of a very narrow area where you could cast and actually get them to react. Threw the jerk bait, didn't quite work. So then I threw the A-rig, and the A-rig really fired them up. Ended up catching my limit within 30 minutes of starting on that ledge. And so when the wind picked up again, got back on that ledge and managed to pull up. The fish were reacting again. They were fired up on the shad, and I was able to pull up. Ended up the tournament there. Yeah, the 4th place stuck. I kind of led the tournament the entire day, but there were some hammers out there, including another member of the G team that went ahead and took the big W there. All right, so that's pretty much sums up what I used to take 2 top 10 finishes in Arizona. I mean, amazing event put on by Kayak Bass Fishing and Arizona Kayak Anglers. I also like to thank my sponsors. It'd be kind of rough to do all this stuff without them. TackleShackUSA kind of provides us with a variety of everything. If you guys need anything, I mean, for bass fishing, saltwater, freshwater trout fishing, you name it, bait fishing, lure fishing, they got it covered. My rods, St. Croix, couldn't do it without them. Some of our clothing, Sims fishing apparel, amazing fishing apparel. And again, very grateful to have the sponsors that I have, grateful to be able to do this, and happy to pass it along to anybody who wants to tune in. All right, so now Anthony's gonna come up and tell you guys how he did it to take the big W at the KBF event in Roosevelt.
All right, guys, so we're going to talk a little bit of how I was able to get the W at Roosevelt. I mean, it was an amazing day. The day prior for Saturday, trail 1, I struggled to get a limit. I found 2 good fish in the morning, and then it was just a struggle bus pretty much the whole day. I think I was able to catch another fish like at 1 o'clock. The tournament ended at 2, and then another fish at like 1:30, and they were both tiny fish, so they didn't help me for the tournament. I think I ended like in 20th place out of 50 or 50 something. So not what I was hoping for. My pre-fishing wasn't great. I fished mid-lake for pre-fishing and found tons of 12 inchers. And I thought that's how it was gonna be when I launched south, because I was figuring the warmer water down south was gonna be nicer. Maybe I would find some beds. Didn't pan out. So yeah, that's how basically Saturday went. I caught 4 fish, ended at the back of the pack, and kind of was down and out. But I knew that Sunday was going to be a new tournament because with KBF there's a Trail 1, Trail 2 tournaments. And I kind of found something Saturday morning, but it didn't really continue the bite. I got 2 fish in the morning on a crankbait, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But so basically around Roosevelt Lake, it's covered with brush and trees, and it's a great Texas rig or flipping lake. But any like jerk bait or reaction style bait, you got to find those channels or those windows between the brush to really catch those fish. And what I found Saturday morning was, I mean, like an 80-yard section of smaller boulders and pea gravel, which had no brush, or it had some brush, but it had mostly bigger logs, which I found out later that you could roll a crankbait off of really easy. And so Sunday morning, I started my day at that spot because on Saturday, I didn't really get to that spot until 10 o'clock, 10:30. And so Sunday morning, I started there right in the morning. And first, I think it was my first cast, I hooked a 16.5 or 16.75, which is like a 2-pounder. And already starting the day better. 7 minutes into the tournament, I started picking out distinct cast in 6 feet of water with the DT6 crankbait. And I don't throw crankbaits because over here in SoCal, you either got a drop shot, Senko, Texas rig, something finesse. And although it is a smaller crankbait on lighter line, I don't really consider that finesse fishing. I think that's more of a power fishing because you're constantly casting and working down the bank. But I was able to pick apart this 80-yard section. I mean, I was just going back and forth, hitting these key spots on this riprap pretty much. And I was able to my second fish, I think, was a 4-pounder, which is like 19 inches. And I ended up catching like 25 fish that day, all within the 14 to 15-inch range. And yeah, I mean, I was on cloud 9 at, I don't know, 8:30 because I had a limit, and the day before I had 2 fish by that time. And I had maybe like 80 inches by 8:30, 9 o'clock. And that was, I mean, the day before, top 5, I think the dude that won it had 90 inches, and then everybody after that was like 74, 73, 72. And I mean, it was fishing tough. So I had 80 inches, which would have took second place on Saturday, and I knew that. All right, guys, so the crankbait that I was using was the DT6 and green gazer chad. You could find this out here at TackleShackUSA in Silmar, California. I mean, they got obviously a giant assortment of whatever you need. I was just casting down the bank, slow rolling and ticking each rock, and trying to maintain bottom contact with it. And you'll see I keep talking about the video. The video's nice, but you'll see me just ticking those rocks, and you'll see the rod tip bouncing off each rock, and then just that hard thump. And they were smoking this crankbait. I was throwing it on an SLX DC. I mean, it's one of my favorite reels, and an iRod Gabe's Rip Rap Special. This rod is legit. I mean, if you want to throw smaller crankbaits, I also found out that it's good for throwing those 110+2s, the Mega Bass jerkbait. But yeah, this crankbait is basically what I caught all my fish on at Roosevelt, and I honestly don't think I would have been able to win that tournament without it. All right, guys, so some of the sponsors I would like to thank is obviously TackleShackUSA. I mean, that Gary Yamamoto wall is world renowned. Like, it's crazy how much Senkos and double tail grubs, anything you think of Gary Yamamoto, we got it back here. Obviously Old Town, I'm on their pro team this year. They're helping out a ton. I mean, I really can't thank all my sponsors enough. iRod, Dakota Lithium, Boondocks USA, Sims Fishing Gear. All right, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this little content we're putting together for you out here at Tackle Shack. Be sure to check out our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel. We're gonna be trying to pump out a little bit more content for you guys, some more tackle tips and just, basic fishing stuff. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this, and we'll see you guys next time.